quick video introducing the concept of arrays in JavaScript, and we're going to talk about arrays a little bit, and then we'll build a little application, a little image rotation setup with arrays. So arrays in JavaScript, you declare them with the new keyword, and you have an array. So you can say new array. That's a kind of longhand way of doing it. Most developers these days will just declare an array with square brackets, and whichever way you declare the array, you can then populate it with values. You don't have to declare how long the array is, you can just start populating it. With arrays, to test them, you can use console.dir to see what they look like in the console. In fact, we can have a bit of fun with this, because if I right click in Chrome and inspect and go to the console, you can actually just create arrays directly inside of here. So we could create an array, and we can start populating it with values. Right, so just to illustrate the point, it's not something you'd actually really want to do in real life, but we can declare that. So we could then say, what is in my pets? You see it tells me it's an array there. And if what was in slot 1, which would be dog, because it's at 0 indexed, so 0 would be cat, and we can find out the length of the array as well, so we can see that it's 3 long. We can also, with arrays, we often want to loop around them, so we could say I0, as long as it's less than my pets.length, I plus plus. Let's just do console.info my pets I. Sorry, let's go back up there. I'll have to do that again. Stick that in. Sorry, I missed the parenthesis off the end of the console. And then semicolon. And there we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3 values from the array. Okay, so you could easily declare arrays and you can loop around them. There's lots of different looping methods, but I'll use the 4 for start off with there. So let's just build a little fun application with this. So in my HTML page, I've got an image tag, which is this one here, which is currently displaying an empty image, and I've got a series of images here, views 1 to 6. They're all set up to be the same size. So what we'll do is we could declare an array. So I'll say var my images equals, and then we could view1.jpg, view2.jpg, view3.jpg. So they've all got fantastically exciting names, and I believe there's 6 of them. 5, not 4, 5. Last one. View 6. Right. Okay. So I've got Prettier installed in Visual Studio Code, so it's formatted it like that for me. So which is fine. So there's my 6 values. And now what I could do is I could, well, first of all, let's show you how we could attach one of those to this DOM element. So the image source is currently empty. So and the image has got an ID of my images. Let's rename that so it doesn't confuse it. Let's call this my image array. Then we'll say document.getElement by ID my images to target that DOM element, and then we'll say set attribute, and we'll set the source to be my image array, and then we want slot, let's say 0. Now the paths for these do need they need to go into the images folder as well, so we'll just append that. We'll say images and then add that value in. Right, let's save that, and we should get the first image in there. So if we inspect, you can see that that is image view 1. So we could change that value to one of these other ones. Now I promised you an image rotator, so that's easily done. This just introduces a nice little feature in JavaScript called setInterval. Now setInterval will call a given function at a set interval. So first of all, it needs to be told what function to use. So I'm going to create a function called change image. We'll create that in a second. I will have it change every second. So this value is how frequently this function is going to get called. This is a value in milliseconds. So let's create that function now. And just to start as well, console info this. So we'll just put in hi. Ooh, right. So that's going to get called now once a second. Let's show you that working. Go to the console, refresh. So off it goes. You see every second it's dripping through that. So we don't want it to do that. What we want it to do is this. So we'll take that line of code there, and I'm using the Alt and the arrow keys to move that inside of that function. So now every second is going to call this, but we want that value to change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable to help me count this. So I'll click count image and I'll set it to 0, and that's what I'll use inside of here. And I'll also, once it's changed the image, the next time it comes in we'll increment that. So we'll do count image plus plus. So it takes the value of count image, increases it by 1. So that next time when this function is called, that's going to be incremented by 1. So it's going to be a slight issue here, but let's just show you what we've got so far. So off we go, and you can see it rotating through the different images. It changes them in the DOM. You see the problem is that the value of count is now starting to exceed the amount that we've got in the array. You can use sources here to help debug this. So in Chrome we could set a breakpoint around about here. Let's try that now. So let's just refresh, and you'll see that count is 1. Let's proceed through. Now it's 2, 3, 4, now it's 5, now it's 6, now it's 7, oh, now it's 8. So that value is now bigger than the amount that we've got in the array. So what we need to do is just put a little bit of conditional logic inside of here. So once it's incremented, I could say if count image is greater than the image, my image array length, and we don't want to actually increment it, so we'll set it back to 0. And what I'll initially do is, well, let's save that first. Let's show you what we've got. So if we, let's get rid of the debugger switched off. So if we refresh, it should now trot through these, changing them, and it should go back to the beginning, which it does at that point there. Now initially we don't have an image set, so when we first arrive we've got a second's delay until it picks up that first image, so that second is causing a slight delay. That's no problem. what we could do is we could just call this change image function before, call it immediately, as well as with the setInterval. So that will get called straight away now to place the first image in, which it does, and off it goes and it trots through. Okay, so I've got that on a second layer. Whenever I do this kind of thing with students, I always change that to a ridiculously high value. Let's do that just for fun. And it goes. There we go. Oof, dear. Okay, not recommended, but you can do it. So there is a very simple image rotation with an array. And then we're using the fact that we can use the array values by counting through them. And we'll do that by incrementing the count value. And we can do that by this handy little thing called setInterval. We'll see more of that in another movie, because one thing that you can do with setInterval is you can create clocks. It's really good because obviously it's clicking through at a given rate, a rate in milliseconds. Okay, thank you.